Good evening, Drew.
Sorry to keep you waiting there, buddy. I'm 10 minutes late.
Oh, everything okay over there?
Yeah, things are fine. I was fighting with the Nest app,
Oh,
and
okay.
I was upstairs. So, I own Nest products. I think Google's kind of gross, but I like the Nest products a lot. My last house, I had the thermostat, and I had a couple smoke detectors. The house we bought also has a Nest thermostat, like one of the later generations, and some smoke detectors. The difference is the smoke detectors in this house are the battery operated ones.
Oh,
Yeah, and it's fine. Like, I would prefer that they were wired, but I don't want to do that right now. Um,
right.
I I do want that eventually. So, like, we have, I think, let me see here. I'm not even going to look at the app because I'm so sick of that goddamn app right now. I think, okay, so I've got one, two, three, four. There's five. There's five Nest smoke detectors. There are also two regular smoke detectors, like one in the back cellar and one upstairs in one of the bedrooms. For whatever reason, they didn't put one in there. So if I was going to try to be consistent, I would put, one more in the upstairs bedroom. But anyway, they all work fine. Like, they are great. I love the fact that they light up when you sort of walk next to them when it's dark. The battery operated ones, I was worried about having to change the batteries pretty often, but they, first of all, they take like a honking crap load of batteries. And they recommend that you use like the lithium batteries, so they're a little extra long life. And the minute those things start to lose any sort of battery charge, the app definitely tells you, like, hey, dummy, go get some batteries.
Got it. Okay.
Well, for whatever reason, the Nest smoke detector in the upstairs bedroom, which, for the record, and I'm not even going to try to describe how my house is laid out, but that bedroom is closer to the wireless access point than some of the other smoke detectors in the house. But for whatever reason, that one just constantly loses its Wi-Fi connection. So the Nest app will put the little notification like, hey, I can't talk to this smoke detector, da, 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 da. And it's like, it freaks me out because I see the notification next to the Nest app and I don't know if my furnace is going to explode. So I go in there and I start messing with it, but try as I might, like, I just can't get this thing to stay on my Wi-Fi network. I mean, firmware and all the other stuff that I've, like, done the research on, I can't quite figure out why it's not working. But that's what I was sort of dealing with whenever it was time to go. So I don't know what's going on. I don't know if I need to replace it, or maybe I need to expand my mesh network. I don't know, because I don't have an access point upstairs.
Okay.
But it's not like, I mean, my phone, I get great bars on my phone. So I don't know, man. Anyway, enough about my problems.
Oh,
How the heck are you, man?
not too shabby. Not too shabby. Well, that's not true. Stressed. Stressed.
What are you
Stressed.
stressed about?
Stressed.
Tell
Just,
me, tell me,
I,
tell me
I,
your problems.
I just got work stuff. That I really don't want to get into because it's not very interesting. But just work,
Okay.
work stuff, and just the general stress of the impending doom of a Disney vacation that's looming
I
really soon.
was
So, yeah.
I thought for sure that your first answer was going to be Disney, because typically work stuff doesn't rattle you. So I won't pry. I won't pry.
We can talk after we're done, but like,
Yeah,
it's
I
just,
won't pry.
it's been a bad week. Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
But I know that you are totally stressing this Disney
Oh
vacation.
my God, it's just. I just want to get into it, Drew, so I don't have any more things to worry about except like just doing it. It's just.
Well, are you at a point where you sort of just need to let go and let God? Because,
Well,
like, the travel agent's taking care of everything,
yeah,
right?
I mean, I love my wife very, 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 very much,
Love where this is going.
but she suddenly decided today that she's extremely worried about our flight being delayed and possibly canceled. And that is just generally stressing her out. I know partially because she doesn't really enjoy flying. So I'm sure that's also part of it. It's just like, I don't want to drive it, Drew. I don't want to drive it.
Yeah, that's not a great drive.
The way that we have things planned, like we have things to do the day that we get there. like off when we get off the plane, like when we get to Disney, like we have things we're going to do. And I don't want to spend the whole day driving instead. So I basically told her, I told her flat out, like, Jennifer, I'm not going to make this decision for you. I don't want to drive, but I'm giving full authority to you. If you tell me that we're driving, I'll cancel those tickets and I will shut my mouth and I will get in that car. Like,
all right. So I'm gonna help you. Okay. I'm gonna help. I'm gonna be a helper.
Okay.
Okay. So let me ask you a couple questions. Who are you flying on?
Southwest.
Okay.
And there was a reason for that, Drew. There's a reason for that, Drew.
Okay.
Southwest has the most flights to Florida every day.
Yeah.
So my bet was, hey, even if we miss our direct flight, there's a good chance that we may have to take a connecting flight, and it may take a little bit longer, but we'll still get there.
Yeah, so here's the thing, right? I'm gonna try to help you. Okay. So here's what I know. As somebody who hates flying and reads a lot about flying and is totally up to date on the shit show that is the airline industry, I would tell you that you are sitting relatively pretty. Relatively being the key word here, because if you told me you were doing like a JetBlue, Allegiant, Spirit type thing, all bets are off. Yeah. I mean, that is like the Wild West of flying. Like, I'm surprised they don't make you ride on the roof. Like, it's like,
what are these bungee cords for? You'll see.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Those airlines are a complete shit show. If you're on a more major carrier, your chances of this flight getting canceled or delayed or anything are relatively lower. I would say that Southwest is somewhere kind of smack dab in the middle of those things. Now, of course, if you're following the news at all, there's a ton of airline cancellations. Like, fuel is up. There's a shortage of people. Like, this summer is going to suck for travel. And as someone who has other work travel coming up, which I'll tell you about later, I don't want to talk about that on the air either. But as someone who has more travel coming up, I felt it on the other end, because trying to find airline flights within budget right now are also very challenging. Yeah. So airline travel is a giant shit show right now. Now, you are correct. Southwest has a ton of direct flights from Columbus to Orlando. I think the possibility of your flight getting canceled is not zero.
It's not zero.
But it's never
zero.
High.
It's never
it's
zero.
Not high. I would venture a guess to say that if anything, your flight might be delayed. You might get bumped to a later flight. Now, put this in perspective. If you're 4 hours late getting to Disney that day, what's the harm?
Exactly. Yeah, I'm not worried about that.
If you're delayed a day, what's the harm?
A day is going to start cutting into our plans, right? But because like you have to make park pass reservations, so like if you lose that day, there's a chance that you're not going to be able to get the park that you want at all. Like, yeah, a day would suck. A day would suck. A day.
How bad would it suck?
I don't know. Honestly, Drew, if the flight got to the point where it got delayed a day, I would seriously consider abandoning the whole thing and just cashing in on the travel insurance.
Really?
Yeah. I think me losing a day would suck. Yeah, we have a lot of things planned. There's a lot of, but who knows? I just don't want to drive, Drew. I just don't want to drive. There it comes down to. Okay. But whatever my wife decides, that's what we're doing.
All right. So I'm gonna help you. Gonna help you. Okay. I've got a cool website here that I'll put in the show notes.
Okay.
Can you do me a favor? Let's just do this on the air, but I want you to bleep this part, right? Because I don't want people to be creepy.
Okay.
Can you tell me your flight number on Southwest?
Yes. Give me 1 second. Oh, come on. Here we go. Okay. It is flight.
I'm going to give you, so the Bureau of Transportation maintains on-time flight performance for every single flight in the U.S.
Ooh.
Okay.
Okay.
Now, they've got a ton of data. The most recent data is as of April.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay. I'm looking here. Now, this is to, let's see here.
Carriers. To MCO. So, yeah, CMH to MCO.
Okay. Wait, what airport are you flying from?
CMH, so Columbus.
Yeah. Okay. This must not be Origin Airport. Okay, so apparently this must be a newer flight because that flight number is registered from a bunch of different cities, right? So the chart I'm looking at right here, I'm looking from April to April because the most recent data they have is April because, batch processing, it takes a while, right? So I would say that the flights to MCO, it looks like there was a route tied to this flight number from Las Vegas to Orlando. That's operating at a 50%. That's the lowest one on the list, but the rest are operating pretty high. Southwest Airlines. Has I got the right one here? Yeah, I mean, I don't see a CMH on this. Carriers,
Really?
WN. Yeah, it's weird. Southwest Airlines Company. Southwest Airlines Company. America West. Holy shit. America West is, oh my God. I remember America West. How to look up. Let me try this again. Maybe that wasn't the best website, but what I'm telling you is that even it's like they measure on-time performance, right? Because the airlines all have to answer to these things. So there are ways to look that up. And I think that if you were to go through maybe a Southwest portal, you could probably find performance for that flight and flight status.
I found the flight status for today, and it was 2 hours and 20 minutes late. So
okay, but what about did they give you any kind of historical view?
not that I can see. I'm gonna have to look. Oh, wait, hold on. Yeah, I can go back and look at. I'd have to click on each one individually. I can't see.
Okay.
Yeah.
Can't do an aggregate.
Yeah, but see, yesterday it was 2 minutes early. So
yeah, It's all over the place, right? So what that tells me is that the performance is kind of all over the place. And Southwest is actually a better on-time carrier than most. Now, in terms of flights being canceled, right? These airlines are cutting routes from one of two places. One, low-performing routes. So like Columbus to Poughkeepsie, right? Like you're probably going to get bounced. Columbus to Orlando in the middle of vacation season, like that's a hard sell to families that are trying to get down there and get some Mickey action, right?
Yeah.
So I would find it hard to believe that they would cancel your flight. I mean, I think worst case you might be a little bit late. Of course, all bets are off due to weather and anything like that. Yeah. But I think
the plane could explode in the air on the way to Columbus. Like shit happens.
I don't want to think about anything like that. I don't want to think about anything like that. I think you'll probably be okay. I think that they would do your best to sort of get you there.
I am less worried about me personally. I am less worried about
who's more freaked out.
She is absolutely. Okay. She is. And it's like I said, Drew. I'm letting go. If she decides that she wants to change, do an audible and drive, I'll roll with it. We're gonna roll with it.
Yeah,
I don't want to do it.
I would say do the drive at night if you can.
Yeah. Well, we it's going to be difficult because we already have like boarding for our dogs. We can't change that. And
yeah. So you got like a huge dependency chain. Yeah.
It's awful. Yeah. Let's talk about something fun.
Yeah. I mean, I think you're going to be fine, man. I truly do.
Let's talk about something fun. No more travel stuff. We're putting a pin in it. This is me
putting a pin in travel.
Putting a pin in it. Let's talk about something fun.
Yeah. So a couple things.
I think we should move right with your cursor. I think we should move that up, Drew.
Yeah, I have thoughts, man.
So, did you get yours?
I did. Just tee us up, man. I'm gonna say.
I hope you don't poop in my pudding, Drew.
Well, let's see.
So, copies of Blood on the Clocktower have begun to ship, and it sounds like we both got ours.
Yeah. So, you want to give people? We did talk about this briefly a few shows ago, more than a few shows ago. I was really pissed with the delivery of this Kickstarter, but just tee it up. Okay. Tell people why I'm pissed. Tell people why everybody's pissed.
Why is everybody pissed, Drew? I mean, besides the fact that it's been like 3 years.
3 years and change, buddy.
Yeah,
because I ordered this game when I still worked with you.
Yeah, that is very true. Yep.
Now, it was a Kickstarter.
It was a Kickstarter.
And like those things take time, right? Mm-hmm. Because you're raising money. Yep. Everything about this campaign looked like it was a fucking slam dunk, dude, because it had been play tested. Like they had working prototype copies of the game. It was featured on a lot of popular board game channels. People were raving about it. I'm like, just you have a working game. Just go make it and send it to me. So I thought it was going to be typical, if not slightly less Kickstarter turnaround, like from the time they were going to get funded. Again, well before the pandemic.
This is easily the longest time I have gone between giving someone money for a Kickstarter and receiving
and it's
the product.
Not, and let's be completely brutally honest. We are not talking about complicated mini manufacturing or plastic mold injection anything here. Okay, we are talking about cardboard and felt. That is it.
But then again, okay, you are correct, Drew. It is cardboard and felt. But I'm going to put this easily like in top 5 component quality that I have ever seen in a board game.
Why would you say that?
Oh, Drew, it's freaking amazing. The cardboard is nice. The felt is luxurious. All the little boxes are good. The little shroud tokens are freaking amazing.
Hey, Paul, let me ask you something.
The Grimoire box is really good.
Paul, let me ask you something.
Huh?
How do you know what goes in those boxes, Paul?
There's little dots on each one that tells you which one. It took me about 45 minutes tonight to go through it, but once I figured it out, it was really easy.
What do you do? What are you doing with all the little tokens with the 4 dots on them?
Those you don't have a box for that. That went in the other purple bag. Yeah,
yeah. The other purple bag, right? Yeah. Is that purple bag supposed to be for something else?
Okay.
What are the plastic things for, Paul? What are the plastic sleeves for? What are the plastic sleeves for?
Okay, so that's also painfully obvious, Drew. There's a tall one. Your like night summary cards goes in that. And the smaller ones, you basically take all of the character summary tokens, split them out by whatever they call them, the 3 different ones, and put them in there. I didn't have any problem with that. I thought it was really obvious.
No, it's not. It's not obvious.
It was to me.
Well, then I'm a dummy.
When I first saw it, I was really intimidated. Then I realized 2 quick things, and it was just a matter of sorting things and putting them in the box.
Okay, so here's the crux.
My
of
box
argument,
is ready
right?
to go. I am. Now, after I figured that out, Drew, I don't think I've ever been more excited for a board game, or really impressed with the quality and the production value, everything. Like it all clicked for me, and I'm
Paul,
pleased as punch.
Paul, you and I have played almost every variation of the werewolf formula that we can think of, from classic werewolf to werewolf spin-offs to games like Dark Moon. We have played a ton of these social deduction games, and we like them. I think universally, everybody I've ever introduced to these games, I've liked them. This isn't rocket surgery. I mean, the biggest difference of this game is it looks like everybody gets a role. There are no vanilla like townspeople roles. Like everybody's got a job.
Everybody's got
right?
something. Yep.
Everybody's got something. Great. Here's why I'm pissed. These people drug their feet on this campaign for so fucking long. They were out at cons, they were out at conventions, they were playing the game. It was abundantly clear to me that, one, they got in over their heads, and they clearly didn't have somebody who was like a project manager for this thing, because they kept over-engineering and redoing and worrying about artwork in a rule book. I don't give a fuck. I'm never going to look at that rule book. I'm not framing that rule book. Like, I don't care what you put in there. Give me a sheet that explains the roles. I'm fucking good to go. Like, I don't care that you had to go back and revise the rule book 200 times to get this to me. Okay? And at the end of the day, again, it's cardboard and felt. And I agree with you. The felt is luxurious, and like, I know what they're going for with the box and how it opens up and you place these tokens in it. They don't slide around. Awesome. Like, I'm there for it, man. Like, I get it, and I think that it's a neat idea and it looks good. I have extremely serious doubts that box is going to hold up through continued play, because even me just opening and closing it, it's got some wobble, son. And I think that if you constantly move that thing around, it's gonna go. Like, it's gonna rip, it's gonna bend, or some glue's gonna go.
Maybe your box is like, I have the like. I mean, I'm not. There's no hyperbole here. I think this may be one of the best boxes I own.
It's thick. It's thick cardboard. I'll give you that.
And I know you have to handle it, and I haven't put it together for that long to hold it, to see how it's going to hold up. But see, that's the opposite thing, Drew. Like, watching this Kickstarter, like, yeah, I was disappointed. I was upset they were mismanaging it. But for me, getting the final finished product and seeing the rule book and reading through it and reading through like some other, like the character almanacs, all that went away. I have not been this impressed with the quality of the components, the box, the rules, the possibilities in a long time. Like for me, all that shit just went away when I started getting into the rules and started thinking about how this would play. And I haven't really even got past like the simplest one, like the simplest scenario, the beginner scenario. And already my mind is racing with the possibilities. This game has grabbed me and I am completely enamored. I have not been this impressed with the board game since I like went through Gloomhaven. Like it's been, I am enamored.
Let me be clear. I'm not saying the components are bad, but I mean, when I look at other games in my collection that have quantities of cardboard, I don't know.
I'm sold 100%. Balls to bones.
I want to play it. Like, I want to play it. I'm sure it'll be a very fun game to play. But when I look back on the amount of time it took to get this thing and what I got,
see,
that does not add up to me.
I'm completely impressed with what I got. Now, granted, yeah, they probably could have like cut a few corners and I would just be as happy and I got it a year ago. Shit happens. But for me, seeing the box and going through there and reading and thinking about it for like the last day and a half, all that shit, that is like whatever it took to get this box to me, I am here for it. I'm sold. I could have waited another year and probably been just as happy if this thing showed up in another year. I'm just absolutely blown away by the possibilities of what's in this box.
Yeah, I don't. I think. Listen, this won't be the first board game I bought, and again, this is a hill I'm willing to die on, right? Like it should have been way more obvious. And I know that they put the little dots on there about which ones go in what, but the fact that they gave you a shitload of Kickstarter exclusives that have no place to go in that box, like I gotta go into my personal stash of plastic baggies that I would normally use for weed, and now I have to put those things in there and keep them in the box. And I haven't gotten this far in the documentation yet, Paul, but are those rules documented in any of the rule books?
Okay, so
a yes or no would be fine.
They are, all of the rules for those roles are online.
Aha. Okay.
Because they are not, there is no, so the game comes with like 3 out of like built-in kind of scenarios with different roles, different character sets, different interactions. And then it also gives you roles for creating, well, essentially what they call them, I guess they call them scripts for creating your own. All of those Kickstarter roles are designed for you to design your own things. Right. So there's no built-in scenario. You do have to, you do have to go online and look at those things. I mean, honestly, like Drew, you probably could just put them on a shelf because there's probably enough in that box without them without even thinking about.
That's what I'm thinking, right? Yeah. Like again, game recognized game. Like they obviously put a lot of thought into the roles, and they.
Drew, you know what I realized this morning or like this evening? If you go to quiz.bloodontheclocktower.com, there's quizzes for each of the 3 scenarios that you can take to basically make sure that as the moderator you understand the rules and the interactions and you're ready to go.
Oh, okay. So it's like a Gran Turismo license situation. Like you gotta prove that you're worthy to play the game.
I mean, you don't have to, but like if you're worried about stuff, like I thought I understood the first scenario and I got a few wrong. I'm like, oh shit, maybe I need to read this some more. Yeah,
I haven't read the rules yet. I read like the getting started. I haven't gotten to the nitty gritty yet. Like I basically read about how the games flow and everything. And like, look, I'm sure it'll be great. Like I want to get 6 people together. I want to sit around. I want to host a few games. I want to play a few games. So I want to give this a shot. I think that one thing this game has going for it that other games of this ilk do not is if you're a storyteller and you're into it, you can have a lot of fun as a storyteller because normally storytellers are just basically glorified referees.
Yep. So there's a couple of things. There's one rule that I think is genius that is built into the game, and then there's one particular thing in the first scenario that I'm really excited about. So obviously, like it's good versus evil. There's a bunch of townsfolk. There's a demon, and the demon has some minions who help him out. And basically, the townsfolk are trying to kill the demon. The demon's trying to do the opposite. So as people draw their tokens, and you're figuring out who has everybody, the person who has the demon, what you do is you show them 3 roles that aren't in the game, that nobody has, so they know who they can bluff as. So I think that alone is genius. Like, they don't have to tell you which one they're going to do. You just say, hey, here's 3 roles. Nobody is one of these. I guarantee it. And they can go from there. And there's a role in the first game called the drunk. You know what you do to the drunk, Drew?
What?
You lie to them the entire game. You actually don't put the drunk character token in the bag. You pick another character. It's like, oh, I'm going to pretend that the drunk is going to think that they are the Slayer, for example. And they draw the Slayer, and they think they're the Slayer, and they try to use Slayer powers. But you know what happens when they use those Slayer powers, Drew? Nothing. Absolutely nothing. Because they're not the Slayer. They're the drunk.
Huh.
Ugh.
Huh.
Yeah.
Huh.
Yeah.
I'm again, all the roles and everything I will get into and I will read. But again, the final product as it's in my hands, like I just don't know where they went so wrong. I really don't with the planning or what it is. I don't know. Opening it up and digging into it and trying to figure everything about where everything goes. Like, number one, I think if you were going to make me wait that long, better organization would have been a little more appreciated.
They should have put in like a cheap ass printed piece of paper that explained everything.
Yeah.
And goes, okay, if it has 1 dot, it goes in this box. If it's 2 box, that goes in this box. Yeah.
I'm not completely handicapped, right? Like I did figure that out, but now the other problem I have is setting up for the games, right? So just to give a quick description for people who haven't seen this game, right? So all of the different components go in a series of basically smaller boxes that organize things. So like for instance, one of the like there's 3 scenarios and like an extra box that I don't even fucking know, but like there's this box and it like
that box, Drew, is for travelers.
I know, but in the box, it's basically divided into 4 sections, like townsfolk,
outsiders,
minions, and demons,
and the reminders, the good
reminders and bad reminders. So part of the problem I have with this is like when I'm digging out the roles, I then have to like fish through that and find the reminder tokens, right? Like
setup is going to be gross because you have to go through and dump those out, gather all. Some of the roles have reminder tokens. Essentially, like the reminder tokens are for the storyteller, the moderator. As they use certain powers or they have little pieces of information, you can use these reminder tokens to remind yourself what they're doing. Or like, for example, like some of the roles in the beginning, like they have some incomplete information. They know like one of these two, they know a role and they know one of 2 players has the role. Right. So you can take a reminder token and say, okay, these are the 2 that they think. Here's the right one. Here's the wrong one. Right. So as the storyteller, you know what is going on. But yeah, like the box doesn't give you enough room to sort them out. So you kind of just have to do is just dump everything out. Go, okay, I'm going to pull this roll in, so I need these reminders, and this roll in, so I need these reminders. Now,
and swapping, and if you're the kind of storyteller who wants to like swap roles in and out at a relatively frequent basis, that's going to be a huge pain in the ass. So like I thought about that. I gave it serious thought today, and the first thing that sort of popped in my mind is trying to find like back in the day when I used to collect like baseball cards and stuff, like getting a trading card binder, because I feel like those slots could probably hold the roll and the reminder tokens. It'll make it a little easier.
That's
to sort,
not a bad. Now, granted, there's something else you'd also have to carry, but yeah, that's actually not a bad idea.
Unless it fits in the box, because if you take out those inset boxes, you got room to spare.
That's true.
So I'm not saying get a huge one, but that would sort of like be my quick fix for this, which would make probably set up and tear down a little bit easier.
Yeah.
So I'm sort of considering that. So some of these might help. I don't know. I haven't found the right one for that yet, but I don't know. Maybe I'm making too big of a deal out of it, but that's sort of how I feel.
Yeah, the game is definitely optimized for smooth flow once it's going. The setup is you're right. It is going to be kind of a bit of a drag as you're, and like honestly, like if I was going to run this and I knew how many players I had, I would probably like figure all that stuff out beforehand and try to have things organized a little bit. Maybe pull things like honestly, the binder's a really good idea, but like probably have like everything ready to go for the first game, just like sitting there ready to go. And then you can use the break in between games to kind of get the next scenario stood up. But yeah, it's not like the moderator for like Werewolf where they don't have a lot to do besides just, to everyone to close their eyes and point at a few people. It is much more involved. There's a series of hand gestures you need to teach everybody. Right. There's these little cards, so like if you need to like tell somebody something but you don't want to say it out loud, you can hold up and they have like a couple like key phrases like "you are now" or like "they are," so then you can like show it to them and point. And yeah it's definitely more involved. But I mean, Drew, I urge you to kind of like read through just that very first scenario and think about the roles and then just let that brain start flowing, because like I said, we both love social deduction games. Like Werewolf is a great example of that. I love how those games go. This is just those just amped up so much. Everybody has something to do, whether it's a piece of information or whether they're making the game harder for other teams to win. Like everybody's got something to do. When you get voted out, you still have a role to play. You still can talk. You get to vote once in the game. They've just refined that genre so much, I think, and it's a genre I've already really enjoyed. So I'm really excited to get this to the table somehow and get some people and run through it. Because
I'm in, dude. Like I'm in. I want to do it. Yeah, I don't know, man. I want to play it. I want to see if it lives up to the final hype. I'm hoping it does.
I think it's got some really big potential. Like, and I haven't even read the two more advanced, like the intermediate scenarios with I guess different characters to play, or let alone like looked at like any of the rules for travelers, which like if you have more than 15 players, you have to use them, or if somebody has to leave early, you can give them one of these roles, and they're not really part of the game so much. I get what it says is they have lots of power but little responsibility. So it's great for those like, I can only stay for 15 minutes. Great, you're this person. So
yeah.
Oh
yeah. Okay. Well, I'm glad I got that off my chest. I'm glad that you like it. Man, we should really do a game night soon.
We should do a game night soon.
We're due. Maybe I'll try to set something up. We can get everybody together.
Woo.
Yeah, we got to give it a shot. Okay, so I think this is probably going to be a games heavy podcast this week.
It might be. Yep.
Yeah. The other thing I wanted to sort of bring up, sort of tangentially board game related, is I got an email about the Summer of Shadowrun. Did you get that email?
I sure did, Drew.
We haven't talked about Shadowrun for a while, but it'll always have a very special place in my heart. So
tabletop RPG for those of us who are new to the podcast.
One of our favorites, I think.
Yes,
both of us.
Yes, but always kind of great setting,
finicky,
great flavor, always mechanically clunky. Yeah.
Yeah. And I have not played the newest edition. I think you did, didn't you?
I have not. I have read the rules and found them wanting.
Yeah.
But Drew, there's a but to that.
There's a but to that. And the but I think is they have introduced those roles into the Roll20 platform. So
okay,
Roll20.
So that's not out yet.
Oh, it is? I thought it was out.
No, they've announced that they are doing it. It is not ready to go.
Oh.
But it is. They are partnering with Roll20. They are going to bring it. They're going to do the quick start rules first, and then they're going to bring the full game to the table, which I think is I think that's great. Like, virtual tabletops are more important than ever. Roll20, regardless of how I feel about it, is probably the number one platform for that kind of stuff. It's smart. I'm glad they're doing it. Hopefully it brings the game to more people. I am more excited about the latest rule book that just came out, Drew.
I know. I am too. So for those of you that have never played tabletop RPGs, right? Typically, the way you sort of get into it as a new player is you go out and you buy a copy of the rules, right? The core rule book of whatever game system you're playing is sort of the table stakes for getting into it, right? Whether you get a digital copy and you read it as a PDF. As much as I'm a huge fan of using my iPad for things, just actually having a rule book that I can bookmark and flip back and forth from has always been my preferred way of playing a game.
I like having both options, but like RPG books are the only real physical books I buy anymore.
Yeah, exactly. Now again, if I'm being completely fair, Shadowrun 5th edition was terrible about this. Like there would be a section in the rule book. There would be a section in the rule book for something like hacking. But like everything wouldn't be completely explained in that section. Like there would be some rule somewhere else specific to like a character trait or something that would greatly change the rule. So being able to quickly search a rulebook like Shadowrun is really important because you need to find the relevant information pretty quickly, which again, I think that's great that they're going to build this all in the Roll20. What's the name of the tabletop platform you use for your campaign right now?
Foundry VTT.
Yeah. Did they do anything with Shadowrun?
It would have to be community driven, right? Because it's all like, but hold on, let's see. Shadowrun 6E. Let's do a quick Google search. Apparently there is a module for it, so
okay.
Yep.
But it was completely community driven.
Everything in Foundry is at this point. Yeah, there is no official rule systems anywhere. It's just people dedicating their time writing JavaScript and doing stuff like that.
Very cool.
But yeah, but again, like I'm guessing the Roll20 official implementation is going to be a lot more streamlined and fancy than anything you would ever get in Foundry. It's just Foundry has other trade-offs that I like better than Roll20. I haven't been impressed with Roll20. I'll say that. There we go. Yep.
Yeah. Well, anyway, back to what you were saying. There's a couple new source books out. So why don't you talk about those?
So the big one that I'm the most excited about is it's called Shadowrun 6th World Companion. And I have not bought it yet. Just to point it all out, I have not bought a PDF. I've not done anything, though I probably will. There was a lot of deficiencies in the rules and lots of systems that just felt kind of awkward or not fully thought out. And apparently they give you rules that, like, the community generally says, yeah, it kind of fixes it. You can kind of like pick the things that really bother you and sprinkle on these other rules and fix things. So after I read that, I was like, well, I don't mind referring to rules in 2 books rather than just one. I played Shadowrun for long enough. That don't scare me. So it's a book that I plan on picking up at some point, maybe this weekend, and kind of just looking through and then see how I feel about this latest edition going forward. Because like to the Dungeons and Dragons game that I've been running, this current campaign has been going on for, I know, like 2 years now or something. It's ridiculous. And to be blunt, I think we're kind of coming close to the end. And I'm kind of thinking about what's next for me as far as tabletop RPGs. I was thinking like some stuff like Blades in the Dark or something like that. But if they fix Shadowrun, it's going to be hard to say no to that.
I gotta be honest. Like I am so looking forward to playing Shadowrun again. Like I truly am. Like I haven't played it for so long that I want to play it again.
Yeah,
I really truly do. So if you're down,
you're in.
Yeah, I'm in. You can count me in. I'd even GM it to give you a chance to play if you wanted.
Yeah, I need to go through and look some of these optional roles and see what's going on and then
yeah,
give some
I would. I definitely want to pick up a copy of Six World Companion.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's going to be so cool. And I need to get a newer copy of the rules. But yeah, I would be down. I mean, I don't know what the ETA is to have the Roll20 stuff integrated, but
yeah. Well, you can sign up to be notified.
Perfect. Just what I want. Just what I want. So, okay. Keeping things moving, unless you have anything else to add to that.
No. I was going to say we can always move this topic to next if you want to talk about your other stuff there.
No. Let's go. We got time.
Okay. So I know we talked about this before. Sony was changing how they're doing PlayStation Plus and introducing tiers and introducing a Xbox Game Pass like library of games. In addition, if you pay a little bit more, you get access to a bunch of classic games, and they're also integrated their PlayStation Now, which was their kind of streaming platform, which allowed you to play PlayStation 3 games and some other games, via streaming. I had tried their streaming before in the past and was left very disappointed. Anywho, all of this thing, it fully launched. And I went on to look to see how much it would cost. And I only have a couple months left in my annual subscription. So it was going to be $8 for the rest through the end of August to upgrade my account to the biggest, baddest PlayStation Plus extras. Sure. So I'm like, whatever, do it. Take my money. I think it's actually pretty good, Drew.
Is it good now?
I tried the streaming again. I played the God of War HD, God of War Ascension, but not both completely, but both a couple hours each. And I started I wanted to see what Fallout New Vegas was like. Granted, these are PS3 games, so 720p, whatever. It's either one of two things happens, Drew. Either you launch it and you can immediately tell that you got a bad connection and you should just give up and die and just quit the game and start over. You're watching, the all those this game uses Bink Video or whatever. You're watching those and you can count the frames and you just quit and give up. Or you get a connection that is so perfectly smooth, you don't even know you're running. You forget that you're running on a cloud. No lag, no latency, it's just perfect. Buttery smooth. So I don't know whether they've ramped up their cloud infrastructure or what they've done to make it better. But they definitely have. And I'll be blunt, the game library actually looks pretty good. Granted, a lot of the top tier games, the big draws, I've already played and bought. So those aren't for me, but there's some other stuff in there that I've downloaded with the intention of giving it the games I would not have bought otherwise. The Game Pass style games that you're I don't know if I would spend $40 on this, but I already get it as part of Game Pass. So I'm definitely going to check it out. There's a bunch of those in there, and I think that's a good sweet spot for the product. So I was kind of skeptical. Reading all the hype and looking at the lists and not being very excited about it to actually thinking it's pretty good. Now, 100%, Microsoft markets Game Pass way better than they market this ball of shit. There's too many tiers. They're named poorly. They need a better marketing department. But as far as the implementation, I think they did a pretty good job.
I mean, is it worse than M1 Max, M1 Ultra?
I mean, hold on. PlayStation Plus tiers. I spelled that wrong. Google will figure it out. I spelled every word of those 3 words wrong.
Wow, you got all those words wrong, bud.
Google was did you mean? Yeah.
It's okay. It's okay, buddy.
So there's PlayStation Plus Essential, PlayStation Plus Extra, PlayStation Plus Premium. I am currently rocking the premium, which gives me everything.
Gives you everything.
It gives everything because it's premium. And honestly, I think I'm going to keep it. I like it. It's good.
Okay. I just want you to be happy. Mm-hmm. What are you playing on there?
I've been playing. I've been really diving into God of War HD, which is the PlayStation 3 high definition in air quotes remakes of the original God of War. Good game, love it. I've also been playing Evil Genius, Evil Genius 2, which is a game I would never even remotely cross my radar, but I saw it on there. I'm like, that looks like the kind of game I would join. And it's a base builder game. You build you're an evil genius, the super villain, and you build a base. And you try to take over the world.
And the heroes try and superheroes try to break into your base.
Like secret agents, yeah.
Yeah, I played that game. It's fun. I don't think I played the second one.
It's one of those games where you probably go through and like do it once and be like, that's enough. Yeah.
Oh. Well, speaking of
video games, what have you been playing, Drew?
Yeah, so on the Xbox PC Game Pass side of the house, I got 2 games I want to run past you, and I think both of these games are available on your Xbox. I know for sure the first one is. I don't know if the second one is. So the first one is a game called Chorus. Have you heard of this?
I have not.
Yeah, so the best way I can sort of describe it is, did you ever play the game Descent?
Yes, I did.
So imagine Descent, plus Wing Commander, plus Chronicles of Riddick.
Okay.
And that's about the best thing I can give you. So the premise of the game is there's a space cult who tries to convert everybody to their way of thinking. Turns out you were in the space cult, but differences of opinion. You're not in the space cult anymore. And you're a really skilled pilot of a little space fighter with some pretty kick-ass psionic abilities. So you fly around in your spaceship. It's slightly open world. And you have to stop the space cult. And you are trying to prevent the chorus, which is like everybody being in harmony. So it's an interesting name. But the thing is, you get access to like a living ship, and your powers sort of grow with the ship, and you fly around, and the combat is extremely satisfying. Like the parts where you're flying between missions is pretty but kind of boring, but the space combat and the different like weapon swapping you have to do and the way you sort of combo things together, extremely fun. I wouldn't say that it's ultra deep. I mean, there's a few mechanics that you sort of have to sort of figure out, and the game is beautiful, and I'm enjoying it. I'm about maybe 12 hours into it right now. And I've done a fair amount of the side quests and things in there and all that stuff. So if you're looking for something to play on the Game Pass side of the house, which I don't think you are, but if you were, I would say definitely check that out. In fact, it might be on PlayStation as well. I don't know if it's on your fancy Game Pass.
I don't know if it's on my fancy. There's a demo. I can play a demo. It is not part. It is not part of PlayStation Plus, from what I can tell. But I'm gonna have to hit the heart on that, so I remember to check that out later. I'm gonna add it to my wish list.
Apparently it's on PlayStation 4 and PlayStation 5 as well. Developed by Deep Silver, which makes pretty darn good games. And it's pretty favorably reviewed, right? If you look up the reviews on Metacritic, like it's got a pretty decent user score for being a relatively low. Like it's a game that literally kind of sort of flew under the radar, and it's pretty well reviewed. I mean, it's definitely not perfect. Like the plot's a little,
Got it. Yeah.
But the voice acting and the dialogue is really good. And the graphics, like I said, are pretty friggin' amazing. So I would say give it a shot. You might end up enjoying it. So
I might just there's a demo. I may just download it to my Xbox right now.
You could do that.
I'm doing it.
Well, if you still have Game Pass, you can get the whole game.
But that would require me to plug in my Xbox.
Oh, okay. Well,
or remember where I put it.
Now, the other game on my list that I want to put in your sphere of influence here, and I'm actually, let me see.
I have heard of this game. Yeah. I don't think it's a PlayStation game yet.
No, but it says that it's on Android and Mac OS, which maybe it's. Oh, is it? Oh my God! Could I play this on my phone? Game changer. Hang on. If I could play this on my phone,
well, it's on Android. It's not on iOS.
Damn it!
It's on Mac OS.
No, it's not.
So I have heard people talk about this game. I have looked at screenshots.
Okay. First of all, do not be dismayed. So what is this?
Okay. It looks like someone took a really bad clip art application and just grabbed a bunch of tokens and just copied and pasted them everywhere over and over again, and then drew some lines. That's what the screenshots look like.
So what it is first of all, it is designed to be as close to Castlevania without being Castlevania.
Okay.
So here's the deal. The only thing you control in this game is the character's movement. There's no attack button. There's no special move button. It's literally you just walking around the screen, and you don't touch the bad guys. Okay. You have a health bar. It's not like one hit kill or anything like that. You literally walk around the screen, which, as far as I can tell, goes on forever in any direction. And you sort of move around, and your character auto attacks. And there's different characters you can unlock. I only have one character right now for reasons I'll get into in a minute. But he's basically supposed to be Simon Belmont, so he's got a whip. So you walk around, and every few seconds he flicks his whip, and anything in his path takes damage. There's like little bats flying around, so like they take one hit, and when they die, they leave behind a little blue gem, and your little man eats the blue gems and gets stronger. Okay.
Okay.
So you're constantly leveling,
just like real life. Yep.
Yeah. So the gameplay loop is kill things, get blue gems, level up, increase your abilities, get new abilities, like new attacks, right? And again, extreme Castlevania ripoff, because guess what? You get an axe that flies in an arc. You can get holy water that leaves fire on the ground, right?
Don't say.
And as you're adding these attacks, like, again, they all auto-proc or auto-process. Like, you don't control when he swings the whip. You don't control when he swings the axe. However, as you get leveled up, you can choose different things to, like, level up. So if you were to like level up the whip, maybe now he puts a whip out the front and the back. Maybe now the whip happens more often. Maybe he throws more axes. Maybe the cooldown between throwing the axes goes down. So you can kind of see where that goes, where you're just constantly sort of leveling up every run through the game, and you're sort of looping around. There's the enemies get tougher and take more hits as you go. The abilities get like fucking insane. Like sooner or later, like the whole screen is flashing because you're like sending lightning in every possible conceivable direction, right? Or fireballs that start as little like flames that come off of you and turn into like giant meteors. Like, it's crazy. Okay. Every run, like you go until you die, right? So it's just like you keep going until you die. Okay. The next time you go in, you start back at level 1 and you do the whole thing. However, the only thing that's persistent is you can earn coins as you play, and then you can then take those coins and basically level up your things to start. So you start a little bit faster, start a little bit stronger, or unlock new things. As you play more, new abilities open up. Like it's basically like achievement based, right? Like, kill this type of enemy for the first time, or kill so many of these things, or survive for 20 levels, or whatever. And then that will unlock a new ability. It's oddly annoying. It's all pixel art. Like, it doesn't look super great.
It does not.
But I think part of the reason for that is at multiple points during your run, there will be 1,000 enemies on the screen. Like, I'm not even close to kidding. It's really, really fun. Like, it's the dumbest thing. It's like, if like everything I'm saying out loud sounds incredibly dumb, but it's not. Like, it's actually really fucking good. So if you are in a place where you can play this, I would say definitely give it a shot. Definitely gets my seal of approval. I played it a fair amount. It's one of those games where, like, if I need a quick 5-minute break from work, I'll fire it up and fuck around and then go back to work. But it's super good. It's way better than it has any right to be, is the best thing I can say.
Interesting. It certainly doesn't look like it, but you're not the first person I listen to who really raves about this game. So,
yeah. Well, yeah, enough gaming. I mean, we've talked about a lot, my friend. So what do you say we wrap this up?
Let's do it. Hey, as always, we're on the internet, doingbtheirbest.com. You can find us on Twitter at doingbestpod. I'm on Twitter at Paul Baylor. And where can we find you, Drew?
I'm on Twitter at Pittfurg, Pittfurg.
Awesome. Thanks for listening, everybody.